So I get that.
So,
And I sit in those big, like,
The big air chairs?
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
man.
awesome.
Here, let me have Steve.
Going out. Actually, I just forgot. I'm not good at trying.
No matter what. Great.
Call Market William.
Hey, thanks. What's happening?
so hard. Left and right.
So I have to be really good.
I got headless screen right there. I think that's the book club radio DJs. I would love to see a like that type of thing happen.
I was at the budget workshop on far down the line, maybe. Oh, let's say good morning.
I need to double check. How many do we have online? Where do you want?
At the end. You said,
Minutes. I did it same time.
Wherever you want to sit. It's Abby's birthday.
maybe if I don't charge it all the way to the corner. Yeah, we're at 5:30.
Six o'clock, y'all. Sorry to cut the conversations. We're gonna call this meeting to order. Mr. Point Advisory Board meeting monthly. It's an opportunity to hear, if this is your first time here, and engage with citizens. So a unique board that not all cities have, where citizens from across the district in different neighborhoods and different background experiences to provide feedback to the sitting council member, as well as vote on zoning and other cases going on. And it provides more of that grassroots effort and input. So you're always welcome to be here. And if you're here for a zoning agenda item, know that that will come up later, and you'll have an opportunity to speak to that, not during the public agenda. So we'll approve without objection, we'll approve the agenda. And were the minutes okay from that last meeting? Going to any corrections or amendments with that vote? All right, hearing no objections, we'll move forward to staff reports, starting with the police department. And I'll start.
We'll actually start with WPD. We'll actually start with WFD. The WPD will not be here this evening. They are covering Riverbend.
Completely understood. I thank y'all for being here.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Vaughn Humerkaus with the WFD, and I'll give you a little report of what we've done up here at Station 10. We have Engine 10 and Rescue 2. This last month of May, Engine 10 ran 261 calls, all types of calls, varieties. Rescue 2 ran 181. Rescue 2's, we're getting a new rescue in order through the city. So that'll be nice when that comes in. New truck 6, Central and 235 is where it's going to be stationed at. It just came on track here and within the past couple days. Our current fire chief, Chief Snow, is going to be retiring in 41 days. They've opened up the process for hiring a new chief just the past couple months, so people are putting in ballots for that. I think we just completed the Citizens Academy. People can get signed up through the city portal and gives them a chance to see exactly what all the different varieties, what we do as a fire department. That citizens can do. We run them through everything, ropes, everything the rescues do, and then the rescue that's the rescue side of it. They also do run them through actual putting them in a fire environment with all of the safety precautions, I believe. So it's pretty fun time for them. And then we're doing the coming up the fire or the kids fire camp. It's currently full, so I'm sorry, but both days are full. That's kind of the month of May. We're pretty quiet, so good thing.
Well, the thing, I think it's Station 9 closest to my house in the Crown Heights area. I guess like the little thing that did happen, that little storm front come through, we had some downlines, and y'all were so quick, so quick. And I was like, happened to be in my sunroom, my transformer blowing up in my backyard, and then we see a tree on the fire in the unoccupied house next door. So y'all were out within like a minute and a half or something else. So thank y'all. Essentially, it saved one of our neighbors' homes at those tree fires.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to do it.
There was a fire on maybe Saturday over at Kensington, Leckley. Close to there, over on just to the south of the funeral or the cemetery.
I believe it was on Florida.
Yeah. Was that a vehicle or a house, or was there injuries?
Actually, was not on shift that day, but I think
Garage, the shed.
shed. Yeah, it was the first shed.
Any questions? Comments? Good fire.
So first of all, a comment. Thanks for the work you guys did, even the department sending people out to Southwest Kansas.
Yes.
That's fantastic. You know, for Wichita to be good citizens of the state. I just love that. And I know it happens, there is risk. So for those, you know, who do that, kudos for sure. And is there any special prep for the 4th of July? Is everything kind of autopilot? Because next time we meet, I can't remember the week before or after the 4th of July, but I know that's coming up and that can be a big time for you guys.
It is a very busy week for us. As far as preparation goes, I know the city does a lot to send out to citizens as far as, you know, how to be safe with fireworks, making sure kids know where to carry punks or to light the fireworks off, keeping them away. A biggest thing that I can say that most of the ones that I've run, house fires I've run on the 4th of July, have to do with a little bit of a negligent side of it, would be throwing fireworks away too quickly and then rolling the trash back in close to the house. So if you do fireworks, a 5-gallon bucket full of water after they've completely gone off, you know, wait a little bit, soak them down, and then you can throw them in the bucket of water and just leave them out away from the house.
Is the 4th of July, the rules changing at all for the city this year?
It's a good question. I assume no word is the rules haven't changed, but might be a good reminder on the rules on hours. Do you know that by chance? I'm sorry. That's fine. I know that's.
I don't want to tell you wrong.
That's a city thing. Y'all gonna be running around no matter what the hour is.
And
Yes.
you'll have the special firework phone number again?
Yeah, they should definitely put that out over. I imagine not all the region. Because yeah, our 911 gets completely backed up with calls of explosions, fireworks being got off.
And it's usually, if I remember, correct me please if I'm wrong, till 1 or 2 a.m. I think it should go longer.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. For fireworks?
Yes.
You like fireworks?
No.
Oh.
So you want you want all line, I think.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Misunderstood you.
The call line, thank you, the call line for special fireworks reporting should go till 5 a.m. maybe, or through the next day even.
That's when we can put that up. We can tell our kids, yeah.
Thank y'all for being here. Don't.
That's it.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Go ahead and move to the library.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Parker.
I'm Parker Daniel. I'm Community Services Librarian for our Maya Angelou Northeast Branch, and I have some library updates. First, we have our summer reading program. Here goes. Unearth the story with your Wichita Public Library. Pre-readers, kids, and teens can set personalized reading goals and track their progress to earn free prizes and entry into grand prize drawings. Visit a help desk at any library to pick up a reading log and a calendar of all the youth events, including dinosaur-themed activities, exciting performers, and free concerts for the whole family. You can also track progress online using the library's digital reading tracker, Beanstack, at wichitalibrary.org/Beanstack to learn more about digital tracking. Download the mobile app. Adults can join in too. Read 5 books this summer or complete 5 out of 10 activities centered around the Unearth the Story theme to be entered into a grand prize drawing. Head over to any library beginning Thursday, June the 25th until Thursday, July the 30th to redeem prizes and be entered into grand prize drawings. Visit wichitalibrary.org/summer reading to learn more. Next, we are continuing our Summer Literacy League. This is designed for 2nd and 3rd graders. Young readers are paired with adult reading mentors who will help them practice reading skills and complete the summer reading program. Register for weekly sessions taking place through June and July to rack up more chances to win the grand prize drawing. Each week your kiddo participates. Each session attended gives you a better chance of winning a brand new scooter. And the sessions are at 5 public libraries. So it will be 11 to 11:30 on Tuesdays at Rockwell, 3:30 to 4 on Tuesdays at Westlink, 1:30 to 2 on Wednesdays at the Walters Branch, and 5:30 to 4 p.m. Wednesdays at the Advanced Learning Library. We also have it 6 to 6:30 at the Angelo Branch. Next, we're doing ice cream socials. The Friends of the Wichita Public Library, a volunteer and support organization, is celebrating the library's 150th anniversary with ice cream socials at each branch. Join us for a free ice cream sandwich courtesy of Freddy's Frozen Custard and steak burgers while supplies last. And then the dates and times for those will be on our calendar at wichitalibrary.org/events. And I wanted to share with you just some of our programs that we're offering at the Angelo Branch. We are partnering with Habitat for Humanity to offer our financial literacy series. It's 3rd Thursdays throughout the summer, once a month. It's going to be June the 20th, July the 18th, and August the 15th. They're on budgeting, savings, and investments, and debt management, although I think I got the order wrong. I think debt management is the second one. And yes, we're happy to offer this opportunity. Next, we're going to continue our Griot Drum Circle program with Positive Rhythm Productions. We'll have 2 sessions this season. One is going to be on Saturday, June the 27th, and the other on, did I give you the times for the financial literacy program?
No.
Okay, it's 2 to 4 p.m. Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, so it's called Beats from the Past, and then it's going to be on Saturday, June the 27th, and Saturday, July the 25th from 11 to 12. It will be an opportunity to learn about the griot storytelling tradition. You will hear some traditional griot songs, and then we'll all break out and have an interactive drum circle. It'll be a lot of fun. And then finally, we are offering smartphones for beginners. This is a program intended for all ages for people who are struggling to get around their smartphones. We have a lovely tech trainer, Missy Hoheisel, who's going to be leading this discussion. And then I wanted to give you some updates from my work personally. Over the last 6 months, I've had the privilege to work with the steering committee of local stakeholders and garden experts to plan the Rise Community Garden. It's named in honor of our namesake, Maya Angelou, and we hope to support garden and food education and expand food access in the Angelo service area. And it's been a lot of planning. We began our build day on the 29th. We have 5 raised beds built up, filled in. We put in some tomato plants, and we will have more updates on that soon. Something else I wanted to tell you about. So over the past season, I have been doing outreach visits to the Timbers. We began with the Research Like a Librarian program, and we did a Library of Things showcase and a couple of sensory programs. My thought behind this was that it was a way to expand library access to people who have barriers. That's one of our strategic goals, removing barriers to access. And we are going, oh, I forgot to mention this grant, this program was made possible by a grant from the Wichita Medical Research and Education Foundation. A huge thank you to Lyle Doherty for making that possible. And we will be continuing this program in the future. And that's all. Do you have any questions?
Well done.
Look, I hope to eat one of the ice cream socials.
Yes, and it's actually cool because one of those ice cream socials is so scheduled very close to our Beats from the Past program. So it's like they run together.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much.
Thanks, Parker.
Parks and Rec. Are they just written report tonight, Parks and Rec?
They have a summer camp going on right now, so they probably are not gonna be able to make it, but we'll make sure we get a written report from them.
All right, we'll go ahead with that objection received and file the staff reports. Moving on to public agenda, there is none for tonight. Any individual present for an off agenda item who wants to speak? The individual present for an off agenda item. All right, and none. We're gonna go ahead and move to new business, the Downtown Wichita Action Plan.
Good evening, Councilmember Shepherd, District Advisory Board members, Justin Constantino with the Planning Department, here to briefly talk about the Downtown Wichita Action Plan, and then I'll turn it over to Heather Schroeder from Downtown Wichita to go into the plan in greater detail. First off, Heather can tell you a lot more about Downtown Wichita, but I will just let you know that they are a private 501c3 nonprofit corporation. The city of Wichita contracts with Downtown Wichita to provide development services in the city's area. And in the city's core. The contract is funded through a SMID, which is a self-supported municipal improvement district. The last downtown master plan was Project Downtown, the master plan for Wichita, and that was approved back in December of 2010. And in September of 2024, Downtown Wichita announced a request for proposals to develop a new downtown master plan. So they've gone through that process. Heather will go into greater detail about what that process looked like and the results from that. I will note that a new downtown master plan would serve as a guide for the city of Wichita, residents, business owners, and other community stakeholders. I will also note that the plan is coming to you today so that you can provide feedback and commentary on the plan. I know it's a larger document, so if you haven't had a chance to read the document in full, you can read through that, provide us with any questions. Heather obviously is in attendance and she can answer any questions in person, but if there's anything that we don't cover today, you can certainly send that to either Heather directly, or you can send it to the planning department. I'll make sure that Heather gets it. With that said, the reason why we're doing this again is to be approved, the plan needs to be adopted as an element of the comprehensive plan. So we are coming to you all today for your recommendation to the City Council for approval. Following today's meeting, we'll go to the Advanced Plans Committee. That meeting is scheduled for June 11th. The Advanced Plans Committee will be making a recommendation to the full Planning Commission, the full MAPC, who will then make a recommendation to the City Council, and then Board of County Commissioners, because it's a joint comprehensive plan document. So both bodies will be approving the final downtown action plan. So with that said, if anybody has any questions for me on the process, If not, I'd be happy to turn it over to Heather.
So on the process.
Yeah.
Does that include cost? So my question is, what's the cost of this plan to the city?
Sure. It's a great question. I'll turn it over to Heather to answer that particular question.
Yeah.
No, it's a great question. Anything else from me on the?
So where do I read the plan?
So the plan with links on the staff report that was included in this document. Again, like I said, it's a larger plan, so you don't need to necessarily approve it tonight, but any feedback or recommendations would be wonderful. So that's available at that link. I believe it's an active link, so it should work. Wonderful.
I just pulled it up.
I'm glad it works for everybody. I will also know that it is a draft plan, so the intent is to get as much feedback as possible before the final plan is approved.
Like plan and their plans within the plan.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of strategies and actions identified within the plan that Heather can go into in greater detail.
So then, building the plan, my guess is you start with some kind of template, right? And then was this a template based on from some other city, and then it was customized for Wichita, or what's the base template?
So I know that the existing draft plan was based off of, I think, the 2010 plan to a certain degree. So there's obviously a strong foundation there, but I don't want to speak for Heather because I have a feeling that this plan varies somewhat significantly from the plan from 2010.
Okay, right.
Any other questions for me?
And what are you doing different than Heather?
So I work for the City of Wichita Planning Department. So I'm actually assisting Heather in downtown Wichita in getting this document through the approval process. So we have a lot of familiarity with the groups that will ultimately be approving this document, and planning staff utilizes the comprehensive plan and the unified zoning code whenever we're making decisions in our staff reports. So with this downtown Wichita plan, if it is adopted as part of the comprehensive plan, whenever there is a development project that's happening in the downtown core area, we will reference this downtown master plan to inform our recommendation to the planning commission.
Thank you.
Great.
Oh, yeah, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay.
Welcome, Heather.
Oops, there's no mic. That's okay. You all can hear me, right?
Yeah, just
Okay.
speak loud enough and the speakers will pick you up.
Okay, great. Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity to come here and address you tonight. District 1 is downtown. So half of our downtown district, obviously the southern part, south of Douglas, is all District 1. So I wanted to make sure that we were getting your input on the plan. If you have not already come to one of the many stakeholder events that we put forth throughout the 2025 calendar year, there's still time. There's still time to read the document and comment on it and let us know your priorities. It's 208 pages, but I'm going to give you a couple brief highlights. There is a video of a presentation that I gave to the Historic Preservation Board, so I'm not even going to get as in-depth as that because the video goes a little deeper. But basically, what we heard from the community is that you all have 4 goals. You want your downtown to be more connected. You want to activate the riverfront. We've got this great amenity in our backyards that we haven't really turned our fronts to, kind of turned our backs of our buildings to it. So how can we engage with the riverfront? How can we ensure that our downtown continues to have great design? We've got buildings from the 1880s that are right along kind of the main corridor there. And they've set a great standard for if this is people's first visit to Wichita and this is the first place that they're visiting, how do we wow them from the get-go and make sure they know that they've, set foot in a community that cares about itself and invests in itself? So making sure that we elevate our urban design, both through the streetscape and the buildings themselves. And then finally, you all told us that you want a full service downtown. What that means is that if you choose to live downtown, you can get around without a car. So we would have all the amenities that you need to live that type of lifestyle. So currently we don't have any groceries. We don't have any drugstores. We don't have any pharmacies. Like you can't get a carton of milk or a bottle of Tylenol in our downtown right now. So what we heard is that that's a major priority going forward. And, how can we as an organization, as Downtown Wichita, help to recruit those missing uses from downtown? And then how do we work with all our partners? So from those 4 goals, what the planning team that we worked with helped us do is identify kind of all of the strategies and the actions that we need to get there over the next 10 years. So there are 17 strategies in the plan and more than 100 actions that go along with those strategies. So for example, for a more connected downtown, one thing that they put forth in the plan was, we need a true circulator bus again. The Q line has gotten really watered down. It's no longer kind of a back and forth route that really serves the downtown district. It goes all the way out to the VA. It goes kind of southwest. We need something that just gets people where they need to go in the downtown district, and provides that kind of seamless connectivity so that, again, you don't need a car to get around. You could park your bike at the new hub and hop on a circulator and get through downtown. With riverfront activation, a lot of the focus that we heard was on food and beverage. People want to be able to stop and get refreshments as they're walking or biking or running along the river. They also just want more things to do along the river that are more than just moving your body. So, I think Exploration Place has seen a great start to that with the Wichita Foundation Amphitheater. And so, how do we as a community focus on more community amenities that are available right there at the water's edge? And so I think with that, I just want to kind of pause for a second and say, for anybody who's delved into the plan thus far, are there questions I can answer tonight? Or if there are burning questions on your mind right now about, hey, is this included in the plan? I can tell you yes or no, and then follow up with where to find it.
Well, some of the things, the challenges that come here, and that's what I'm trying to think of. What are some of the things, that we find challenging? And there's really great response whenever we're talking about bike paths. And you said, where people can be downtown and do everything they need to without a car. But I don't see a lot here about bikeability. And so is that outside of your plan?
No,
it's in here.
It's central to the plan. So I would say the number one recommendation that we heard from the community was that Douglas Ave is not designed for people. It's designed as a highway. But then we already have a highway with the Kellogg flyover. And so looking at what they did in Delano, they made Douglas Ave a signature street there. They narrowed the street into only the necessary lanes for the through traffic. And they've seen destination retail fill in around it because it's now built on a human scale. We would love to see downtown receive that same treatment that Delano got in creating Douglas as a signature street where, we've run the traffic counts through the engineering department, and they basically have double the street width that we'll ever need for the traffic that we receive. We're not worried about more traffic because, again, we'll get the highway to absorb that. So what they told us is that instead of having 5 lanes, we could narrow it down to 3 and give that space back to people on the sidewalks. So right now our sidewalks accommodate walkers, strollers, scooters, bikes, outdoor cafes, planters, tree pits, benches, bike racks. They're pretty crowded for being our major street. And so what we're seeing is conflict with those uses on the sidewalk. We're seeing people get mad when a bike goes by them too quickly. And, so having dedicated bike lanes carved out of that additional space, might be the right solution so that people feel comfortable biking and they feel comfortable walking and strolling, all in that kind of public realm.
So the river being critical, strategy 12, there were 2 things that stood out to me.
Sure.
One that seems like everything else might be contingent upon, and to go a little more into detail, establish a downtown river conservancy as a philanthropic and advocacy organization to complement city efforts. It seems because the example given was the Detroit one, and so I didn't know if the Detroit one identified 2 $50 million gifts each coming from the private sector to make this public-private work. Have there been conversations? Are there potential donors already identified?
Yes. Yeah.
Wonderful.
And so that's a conversation that we actually included that in the plan after having a conversation with some local business leaders who said, nobody's caring for the river. We said, well, what are you going to do about it? And so they said, well, we'd be happy to contribute to a foundation. And so then we realized, okay, a foundation that is geared towards the river needs to be a critical component going forward.
Okay. That's great. Comments from the report?
What what does the city transportation bus line say about that?
About a circulator? Yeah, so I am working very closely with the Wichita Transit director, and we actually both came to a meeting 2 Fridays ago at Greater Grounds and put down maps of where we want a circulator bus to go, and they were the same. And so we're very aligned in, you know, to me, it's a loss for District 1 that the hub was moved to Delano. I think it's a beautiful new facility, but the reality is people who use our bus transfer station to get to their work in the Central Business District now will be on the wrong side of the river to get to work. And so how do we provide an option for them to get back to the core where our workforce is centered? And so, you know, one spot on the route would be the hub to pick people up and carry them east back into the core. Douglas Ave, critical component, right? And then I think we were looking at, you know, opportunities along to kind of loop around from Douglas to Waterman, because Waterman has a lot of development potential, but it's a lot of surface parking lots right now. So being able to provide transportation there kind of unlocks future development of those surface parking lots.
And then the parking situation, people have parking downtown now. How's that going over with your plan?
Yeah, so parking management is recommended in the plan. You know, parking is a shared resource, and if you're not charging for it or enforcing it, you let certain people hog that resource rather than share it. And so the only way that
Hog in what way?
I could park, so prior to the parking management plan being implemented last year, I'm a downtown resident, and I could park in a on-street parking spot in front of, say, Old Mill Tasty Shop forever, never move my car, prevent their customers from parking out front every single day, and never be told to move my car. Now, you know, I could pay, you know, I could pay for a couple hours there, but as soon as my time runs out, I've got to move my car so that somebody else can use that space. And that's good for Old Mill Tasty Shop, because then it turns over the traffic in front. So like if you finished lunch and you parked up front, you're going to get in your car and you're going to go before your time expires. And that lets the next person come in and patronize that business.
So I've got landscaping and water, well, landscaping. I'm still kind of have PTSD from the drought a couple of years ago, right? And so are you very conscientious then about water conservation? Because I'm seeing trees and so forth, but I mean, xeriscape, I still feel like as a city, we need to do better with that, with our landscaping plans and so forth. Because there's no guarantee that our lake is always going to be full. We could have another horrible drought again. So have you taken that into consideration?
Yeah, all the, so one of the consultants that we worked with was a landscape architecture firm. And so they recommended all native plantings that are reliant on our water table. So, you know, we're not trying to grow Kentucky bluegrass here. You know, it's recognizing that like yucca does just fine in gravel beds, and can be a great softener of the hardscape, especially when it's flowering. Yeah. So they made sure to recommend plants that can thrive in our varied conditions here.
The stakeholder events, I don't know how, I missed, you had them all over 2025. Did you do a breakfast here? Breakfast?
I did a breakfast before we started the plan.
Yeah,
to talk about the kind of coming events for it. Yeah.
Are they done?
Pictures.
Are they done? Your stakeholders?
The big events are done.
Right.
Yeah. So we did 3 open houses. We did 3 pop-up events. One at NCAA, one at Riverfest, one at YMCA, and then we did 50 different stakeholder meetings where we got together, say like cultural leaders and musicians, or the W Young Professionals Group, or people who live downtown, you know, just to ask, okay, like from this group and specifically, like what are your priorities? What's on your mind? How do we best serve your group with your mindset? Yeah.
Comments?
As this plan deploys, is there an accountability roadmap, and just what are those touch points gonna look like?
Yeah, so for each of the strategies, there's like an action matrix, and it outlines kind of who's responsible or who can contribute to achieving the action. And for most of them, it's a mix. So it's like, you know, for the most part, this is the directive for my nonprofit over the next 10 years. Like, you know, this shapes our work for the next decade, but we're going to need a lot of partners to do it. So, you know, some of it is working with philanthropy, some of it is working with government. Already we coordinate so closely with city departments like Parks, Public Works, Arts and Culture. So continuing to deepen those relationships and say, okay, you know, we can check off this box. You guys can do this together. We're going to get that item done. And so I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Will there be a cadence to it, like every 6 months to a year?
So there are different timeframes for achieving the different strategies, right? So like we've got some low hanging fruit. Like one of the items was make sure that downtown's clean. And so like, while the plan was being written, we actually went out and got a grant for a pilot program for what we call the Downtown Clean Team. So we had 2 part-time guys last year who were picking up litter, removing graffiti. We kept track of the data on that, and then we presented it to council last summer. And they said, yeah, if you guys want to, because we work with a self-imposed tax on all downtown properties. So it's only downtown property owners who pay for our operation. And so council said, yeah, if the downtown property owners want to fund this full time, like we're all for it. And the downtown property owners said, yep, we want to see more cleaning activity. And so we now have 4 full-time people who are cleaning downtown 6 days a week. And when we had our Earth Day cleanup event this past April, we actually didn't have enough litter for the volunteers to pick up. So we realized we need to do more plantings in the future.
Yeah, love the data-driven decision making, and I appreciate all the vetting that's gone.
Appreciate that.
So how is this gonna help or inclusively the poor, marginalized, working poor in our community all across the Sedgwick County, Wichita?
Yeah, I would say one of the chief kind of takeaways of the plan is that we need more housing downtown at all income levels.
How will that look? How will that look for the poor or marginalized or working poor to afford something downtown?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are various programs like low-income housing tax credit can be as low as 20 or 30% of the area median income. Like if you're earning that, you qualify for those units. And so, you know, I'm just singing from the rooftops to our developer community, like, I don't care what kind of housing you're building, we need homes for everybody downtown. So we need options for people to be able to buy at various price points, townhouses, multifamily. We need options for people to rent at various income levels. You know, I'm really encouraged to see one development already underway at the corner of Market and First Street that's using that low-income housing tax credit, because that is a resource that comes from outside our community. You know, so that's subsidized at the state level.
Oh, it's not Second Street, First Street?
Yeah, First and Market.
Sturkmeyer, but
it's directly across from Adelita's. It's Market Center. I think it's 155 North Market.
Okay.
Northwest
Market First, you said?
Because I want my, you know, my friend who pours me coffee in the morning to be able to walk to work. You know, I walk to work. We need to have housing types available at all different price points.
Okay. And how do you, maybe this is a little off subject, but I'll try not to, but how do the poor, marginalized, working poor afford the amenities downtown, like theater, shows, movies, activities?
Yeah, so great question. Downtown Wichita as an organization started a new sponsorship program this year. And so we said, hey, if you offer programming that is held in the downtown boundary, that's free and open to the public, and that's a first time event, we'll give you $1,000 towards your event. Like we want people to program downtown for free community events. And so if we can have a hand in directly supporting that, you know, that was a priority of my board of directors this year to make those funds available.
And how has that gone over?
It's been great. Yes. So far we've had one
took advantage of that.
Yeah, we've had one event a month since February. February was the Black Business Tour. Let's see, March was a free St. Patrick's Day party in NASCAR Park. April was a free fitness program with like a little race and like exercises and community and snacks in the park. No, wait, or was that May? Forgive me. June, I'm really excited about. That's FIFA Watch Party that Empower from Nomar is presenting in NASCAR Park. So free viewing of World Cup games on June 11th and 12th.
Oh.
Yep. In July, Union Station is doing free fireworks for the 4th. And like they've lit up their building and it's actually really attractive already. It's fun.
Say that again.
Union Station.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we haven't had, and then in August, there's a party underneath the overpass at the end of Commerce Street that Tribal Roots is putting on, like a free concert. So that's cool. And I'm like, I'm not cool enough to go to that, but there are people who are. And I
did it last month.
Yeah. I'm happy that they can do that there. And then we haven't had any applicants yet for September, October, November, December.
Okay,
So get those ideas into us.
Excuse me. How are you getting the message for that out?
Yeah, we've been publishing it in our weekly newsletter, on our social media channels. It's on our website. There's a direct link about the sponsorship criteria and the applications available there for anybody to, it's a 2-page form. Yeah.
And if I could go back just a second, how are the poor marginalized working for, myself included, to afford theater or shows or activities downtown? I want to attend those. I want to attend the opera. I want to attend musicals, the symphony. I can't afford those.
I think that our cultural leaders are doing a lot to diversify their programming. So they're offering music in park settings. They are, offering pop-up performances to get people exposed to different genres of performance. And so it's really a question for our cultural leaders of how their organizations are integrating with the community. But again, if one of those groups wanted to apply for funding through downtown, we'd be happy to support a free performance.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here, Heather. I'll at the same time, I'll follow up with you direct because that point of the $1,000 also brings up a potential counterweight we've been hearing feedback on of the security costs that sometimes offset.
We've got a meeting on that on Monday.
Having on that one, so yeah, so I have,
Yes.
yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. If there are no further questions, I know that Justin handed out comment cards and he'll collect those and bring those back for us. I'm gonna leave a bunch of native sunflower seed packets that also have the URL for the Downtown Wichita action plan on the back. So you can learn more about the process that's gone forward. I hope you plant them in your community garden that the librarian was talking about. If you wanted to come downtown and like throw them in the area along the river, we'd also be cool with that. We didn't tell you to do that, but if we saw sunflowers blooming along the river, no one would complain.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Right on. Thank you, Heather.
All right, so now we're moving on to a first zoning case. Before we get into this, if you're here to speak, the way the rhythm this kind of goes is we'll hear from staff who will present the case. DAB members will then ask procedural, intricate technical questions if they want to get clarification. Then we'll have an opportunity for the agent or the applicant to speak and address. And then after that, it will be the public's opportunity to speak and address the DAB. And then it will come back to the DAB. Once it comes back to the DAB for the voting and discussion, so the public input is typically moved. I just want to say for the record, for the minutes, again, clarifying from last month, I do apologize for not seeking that point of order clarification with the absentee abstaining. And so we'll get that right going.
Excuse me, can I just interrupt for just a second? I apologize. I'm probably out of order on this. Do we not get an opportunity to visit about the downtown plan that's just been presented to you? Does the public not get an opportunity to visit with you about that?
Actually, that's
okay.
I apologize.
Thanks for putting us on purpose.
Yeah. No.
I appreciate that. I'm sorry to interrupt.
I was just saying point of order. You just had the best point of order.
So that sounds great. I appreciate the opportunity to visit with you all. Councilman Shepherd, members of the DAB, number one. My name is Greg Kite. I reside at 425 North Lorraine. I'm a local attorney. I'm a member of the executive committee of the Vote No Coalition Against the 1% City Sales Tax. I'm also the president of the Historic Preservation Alliance of Wichita and Sedgwick County. I'm here to address the proposed new performing arts facility that is mentioned on pages 138 through 141 and location proposals on pages 160 and 163 of the Downtown Wichita Action Plan 2035. So that I'm not taking up too much time, I am not going to go through each one of those pages, but I want you to take note of what those pages are. And I'm going to make some comments that I think will cover that. Downtown Wichita, as been mentioned, had 3 open houses. I actually attended 2 of those 3. Provided to us were Post-it notes. We were used to express thoughts and suggestions on various signboards, bulletin boards, and other items. I saw absolutely no notes expressing the desire for a new performing arts. I saw notes expressing the desire to preserve and maintain Century 2. I saw notes expressing that Century 2 can handle all events, specifically including the production of Hamilton. I saw notes declaring that Century 2 is the most iconic building in downtown Wichita. In the downtown Wichita plans and drawings, Century 2 is depicted as an empty shell with a botanical garden inside. Did you get that? It's an empty shell with a botanical garden stuck inside. That's what downtown Wichita has provided in its drawings. Let's take another step forward. Recently, Wichita Forward included a new performing arts in its sales tax proposal. The poll on the new performing arts was so embarrassing, they refused to disclose the results. The poll on Century 2, however, was anything but embarrassing, and it was 60%. The final vote results were 82% against and 18% in favor. It was the most overwhelming vote I've ever heard of. This has been a replaying story every 5 years, starting with Riverfront Legacy Master Plan, Downtown Wichita, Wichita Forward, and it keeps going on, and it keeps revisiting us every 4 or 5 years. And I can't disclose some of the specifics here because I'm under a confidentiality on this, but I am going to try to mention a couple of things. There are some reasons why Downtown Wichita and Wichita Forward attempted to support the idea of a new performing arts. And specifically, I will tell you the 6 most important items. Street level loading dock, dressing room expansion and upgrades, 2 aisles cutting concert hall into 3 seating sections. We have been aware of those shortcomings and issues for decades. There's no arguing about it. They're important. They need to be addressed. They're shortcomings. We need updates and upgrades on those issues. In addition, 3 additional upgrades to HVAC and or replacement as needed, permanent projector in the ceiling of concert hall with an automated screen, and finally, quote unquote, in terms of art, acoustic shell panels in concert hall replaced with a new mobile lighted system. These are items that are currently being addressed. Drawings and such of a new loading dock to Century 2 on the northwest corner. We will probably have those drawings in the next 2 weeks. And that's just the beginning. These shortcomings are going to be addressed. These updates and upgrades that have been pushed off for decades with deferred maintenance is going to be addressed. God bless John Hale, the manager of Century 2. The last 20 years, he has been fighting this battle to keep Century 2 afloat with deferred maintenance and inadequate funding for years. And a lot of this could have been addressed had that funding come through as it was supposed to. Do you have any questions? I wish I could tell you a little bit more about the stakeholders that are involved with the upgrades and updates to Century 2. We promised them that we would keep that confidential for the time being. But I wanted to give you at least a rough outline as to what's going on and what we're looking to do, because we think this is important. When I look at some of the drawings and specs, like downtown Wichita, Wichita Forward, Riverfront Legacy Master Plan, I always wonder when I look at all of those boxes.
Mr. Guy, are you able to wrap in the next 2 minutes?
Oh,
Is that
absolutely.
fine? Because without objection, I'll
She said no.
This is the DAB. The DAB is allowed under Robert's rules to extend a speaker's time.
And I don't
And
want-
we've historically never had caps on speakers in District 1, owing to the precedent of the 2 prior council members. So I would ask if you're able to wrap up in the next
30
minute.
seconds, let me just
All right.
wrap it up. You bet.
Is there objection just to let him wrap up in the next 30 seconds? All right, go ahead.
When you look at all the plans, Riverfront Legacy Master Plan, about 10 years ago, started out downtown Wichita, Wichita Forward. I'm always wondering, I see those wonderful, beautiful plans. Where is the iconic structure? All I see are a collection of boxes, salt boxes, if you will. New construction, how much creativity and thought is really in those buildings, in those structures? Do you see an iconic? Take a look at all of the drawings and whatever that have been provided that are in these plans, and you tell me, where is that iconic structure that is the signature structure for the city of Wichita?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your indulgence. Sorry to interrupt the gentleman there.
Oh, no, we should have thought.
Thanks for interrupting.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize the dynamics.
No.
I will say before you leave, policy 38 does put in place checks and balances that could be changed, but it would trigger an advisory election on whether or not we would demolish the tree 2.
Yeah.
You have my commitment here publicly that I've heard the vote loud and clear. I do believe that renovations need to happen to Century 2,
Yeah.
and that has been my argument all along. If we keep it, we need to take care of it.
Yes.
It needs to be utilized efficiently and effectively. It's not enough to say it's a beautiful building. It should match the quality of talent that is inside of that building. So
Right on.
thank you for being.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, sir. Yeah, am I allowed to make a comment here? Sure. So, in regard to the comments the gentleman made, I'd like to say that I attended also one of the sessions that you were, and I saw several Post-it notes where people were asking about, what about the Performing Arts Center? So my view may have been different than yours, but I would like to express that I did see people commenting that there is an interest in our community of a Performing Arts Center. So I'd just like to share that.
So yeah, sorry again for not picking up public comment just then, and we're gonna go ahead and then, unless there's any final public comment on this issue moved. Oh, Celeste, yes.
Hi, next.
How do you?
Hi.
Yeah, I guess we're wanting to institute 5 minutes. Is that fine?
I'll be less than 5 minutes because I'm being impromptu. I know some of you, good to see you. I know your hearts are in the right places. I will remind you, the sales tax initiative was just rejected with over 80% saying no. Tex, I know you were part of that. I'm an accountant. I was a certified internal auditor. I was an FDIC fraud investigator. And I know, looking at city finances for the past 6 years, we have given a lot of money to TIFs, SIDS, SCHMIDs, TBIDs, and a lot of acronyms for commercial businesses. This community center, Century 2, was created by a bond vote by the taxpayers. They even named it Century 2. It is a citizen initiative. It's a beautiful building. It has historic architecture. I wrote the historic registry for it. And it needs to stay, but unfortunately our last city manager deferred maintenance, and he admitted that to me in my first conference with him. He said, I made that decision, and I was horrified. But here I am, Save Century 2 founder. I bring my accounting knowledge to play, and I tell you what, we can renovate that building 50 cents, maybe even less on the dollar of what it would cost. And because it's historic, we get historic tax credits. So I would remind you all, taxpayers said, no, we're being stretched. Quit spending our money foolishly. Be smart. Let's keep what we have and let's take care of it. So I know this came up suddenly. I didn't even know this was starting to go through DABS, where they're talking about a new performing arts and a new convention center. And I'm like, don't we get it? 80% said no, be fiscally conservative. That's all I want to say. Thank you for your volunteer time. I know what that takes. Appreciate it.
All right, well, we're gonna move to the con 2026-0053, sorry. I appreciate you being flexible. And just a sign up to the DAO, I will likely have to leave early soon. My wife and I don't really celebrate much anniversaries, but she surprised me with tickets to Afro, man. So I get to hear Palmdale live. I want to hear Palmdale live. Great. So yeah, we sneak it out.
All right, well, I will do my best to get through these quickly. Good evening. My name is Brad Etherly. I'm with the MAPD. The first case that we're going to discuss today is Con 2026-00053. For this case, the applicant is requesting a conditional use for a group residence limited on property zone TF3. It's a 0.16 acre property that is located at 602 North Green Street. And they are requesting the conditional use in order to have 10 residents on site plus staff. The site is currently developed with a 5-bedroom single-family dwelling that was constructed in 1927, and they have indicated they would like to use this for children. The applicant intends to care for up to 10 clients, and group residence limited is permitted within the TF3 zoning district by conditional use approval. The site plan submitted by the applicant shows the existing 2-car garage with 2 additional parking spaces in front of the garage for a total of 4 parking spaces. The UZC does require 1 parking space per bedroom, and so that would mean that there would need to be 5 parking spaces. The applicant does have the option of requesting an administrative adjustment to reduce the parking, or also a variance could be applied for. The character of the neighborhood is low-density residential. Properties to the north, south, east, and west are zoned TF3 and are developed as single-family dwellings. It was platted in 1887 as part of Mossman's second edition, and there are no other zoning cases with the property. The site has access to North Green Street and East Elm Street. Municipal water does serve the site and sewer services. Transit provides regular bus service within a quarter-mile south of the subject site. As far as plans and policies go, the conditional use request is in conformance with the community investments plan. The future growth map identifies the site as appropriate for residential uses. And as far as the Wichita Places for People plan, it also is in conformance with that. It aligns with strategy number 5, which is to provide a diversity of housing options to attract new residents and allow existing residents to remain in the central area. As far as the central northeast area plan, it's in conformance with the goals. The plan identifies one of the priorities as to create a neighborhood environment that ensures an improved quality of life for children residing in the neighborhood. So with their intention of focusing on children, that would be met. Mary, I don't know if we can go to side pics. I don't know if it's okay. You've got them in your reports. So staff does recommend that the application be approved with the conditions listed in the staff report. And as far as any kind of public comment, we received a couple of phone calls who were curious but did not express opposition to the requests. And with that, I can stand for any questions.
Questions for staff?
I had a question for staff, and I do have a question, but I think it's going to be for the owner, applicant, agent, whatever. But we had a housing group residence, I think last month. It was for adults. And was it 1 parking place per resident, right?
Correct.
So now I see with kids, you obviously don't need, but what keeps the applicant from opening or starting with kids and then going to adults and then not
Sure.
having a parking?
Good question. I don't know if that's addressed in the conditions, but I can check real quick. It doesn't look like it is, but typically even with adults, they are usually serving people that do not drive. And so they will request variances to reduce the parking for those as well. So I don't think that we have a whole lot of heartburn as planning staff about reducing the parking for either adults or children. Of course, if they request a variance, that also can have conditions on it. So, that might be something that comes up. And even if it's an administrative adjustment, there can be conditions as well. So that can be something that can be maybe discussed at those times.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go ahead. Is the agent applicant in person or online? Oh, yes, ma'am. Yeah, go ahead. Come on up. Unless you're comfortable with where.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. My name is Shantae Bolden. I reside at 1726 South Ellis, Wichita, Kansas 67211. This is my first time ever doing this. Please forgive me, everyone. But what we're doing with this home, I'll just give you a little briefing. The people who actually own the property were providing an opportunity for the house to be bought, rented, sold, or whatever. So I actually take care of the owner's wife. She has dementia. We had started this in hopes of a home plus or something to that nature. We quite didn't go towards that area, and we're hoping to do that further in the future, being that we need costs to take care of everything, to remodel and stuff. So the plan is to start, to have foster care like a traditional home setting. It would be up to 4 children that would be in the home in hopes that they would be ages 6 to 10. If they are older, I understand the concerns of them being in the community for older children, but we are, Lord willing, hoping to provide a better home, a better opportunity. I was a teenage mother. I had my first child at 14. So I never got to live in this type of neighborhood. I never had an opportunity until now, and I'm 43 years old. So, the Lord just put it in my heart to take care of children, to give them training like life skills and education outside of the education that's being provided at school, love and hugs and things of this nature. On the property, it would be surveillance cameras there. The children will never be left at home by themselves. I would always be there for one. It would be another lady named Miss Tamika Reynolds. She's older. We are both have a background in healthcare, childcare. I've been working with dementia patients for 7 years now. I'm a certified CDP, that's a certified dementia practitioner. I'm also a CNA. I also do hair. Just a lot of opportunities, a lot of love, a lot of everything that I would love to give and to provide. In this neighborhood, it's a beautiful home. For the parking, as he stated, it would just be for myself and one other person. If we ever have to leave the property, we would have someone else outside of us that would be on the property to be there with the children so they wouldn't be alone by themselves. Everyone who comes through the home will have to be fingerprinted to be able to help out there. They will just be like informal helpers. And myself and the other lady, Miss Tamika Reynolds, had to go through the fingerprinting process as well. We would be working with children through the state. And we started this process in hopes to, in the future, grow this into something bigger and, expand it and help all these children that have been abused and abandoned. And I can relate to them also in some of the walks of life that they have been through. And so that's why I felt like this will be a good fit, great neighborhood. If we were to get blessed with teenage children, we have the hillside area where we could go to Spangles and maybe get them a job. They won't just be sitting in the house. Like, we want to build their self-esteem up and in hopes for them to be whatever they dream to be or what they want to be. But this is the plan.
Any questions for the applicant?
And so have you been a foster care provider before?
No, ma'am, never.
Well, I have.
Yes, ma'am.
Girlfriend, it's gonna break your heart. But
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm confused now. 4 kids. 4 kids. So I feel like we're mixing apples and oranges.
Mhm.
You just wanna do foster care.
Well, this is what we're starting out. So the group home, limited residence.
Right.
The home is big enough to where it can house anywhere from 6 to 10 children.
Right.
And so if we were blessed with this opportunity, we would already be licensed and everything to go in that direction. If not, we're just gonna stay in a traditional home setting, providing care for 4 children or less, whatever we're blessed with.
Okay.
That's what we'll
So-
work with.
The goal is, so I'm gonna forget that you're just trying to do foster care. You want to get to be a group home. Right, and then with those rules, 2 adults to 2 kids 2 adults to 10 kids, is that the appropriate staffing ratio for that?
No, ma'am, the staffing ratio, depending on the ages, is 1 to 4. One, in the daytime is 1 to 7, depending on the age, and 1 staff to 7 children, or 1 staff to 4 children.
Right.
Depending on the age range. Sleeping wise, it can be 10 children sleeping, and it could be 1 person that's awake during supervision times at all times, if there were only to be 1 person there.
Okay, so I want to make sure, because I think what the maximum here for a limit up to 10 individuals.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it 10 plus 2 or 10 altogether? I can't.
No, it's actually up to 15
Oh,
with staff.
Okay.
But that's living on the site, so they can have staff that don't live there.
Okay. I don't know. Oh, I saw here it's up to 12 staff under the conditional use.
So 12 plus the 3.
12 is what we were requesting, but by the Kansas state law, it's up to 15.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
All right. Those are my questions.
You answered all my questions.
Oh, amen. Thank you.
Presentation, thank you.
Yes, thank
Any
you.
additional questions for the agent?
This is for anticipated and hopeful expansion later
Yes,
on.
sir.
Technically, you can do what you want to do as it sits right now. Am I understanding that?
Yes, sir.
You have any kind of a timeline on when you might be going? And my question would be, if this was denied, you just continued as you are right now, with the foster care arrangement?
Yes, sir.
Would you come back, assuming you would have to come back and go through the process again?
Oh, yes, I will come back. I never give up.
So are you going to be renting or buying this property?
Renting in hopes of buying. I just have to see what the future holds.
And the owners are, you take care of his wife?
Yes, ma'am. And so they would kind of be like angel investors.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Any additional questions for the agent applicant? Thank you.
Yes.
We'll go back out to the public. Any questions from the public or any comments from the public in regards to 2026-00053? Yes, sir. Come forward and state your name for the record.
Might take me a while, but I get to.
Yeah, okay, you got it.
James Rosebar, 4518 Greenbrier. And I have more of a comment than I have against fight against you.
Yes, sir.
But I'd like to say one thing. I appreciate you coming in here, letting people know what you want to do. Because I love children. I care about children. And I got some concerns here about what's happening in Wichita, in the state of Kansas, and across the country. How many of you watch the news? Last 3 weeks, every day, it's been children ran away from home, girls molested, and all this. And last week, it happened in my neighborhood. And so I'm starting to wonder, what controls over these kids in these homes? You have nowhere knowing where these kids are running away from or where they're going to. How many of them are coming from homes? And I'm gonna put it this way. 2 adults with 10 children, that just don't sound kosher to me. If you go watch kids, and that's what I want to say. Again, I appreciate you coming here, but Dad, boy, look and see what's happening in our community right now. It's no control over our kids. In my neighborhood, and I have people here from it, I've always pushed in the kids in the group homes, to bring them to our activities. Now, some of you come to my activities last year, and you saw handicapped kids. Would you believe after 35, 36 years, that's the first time we had kids come to be recognized? And that's one item. If you're gonna have a home, and I know at M, I think the M Association is going away. But involve those kids in a community activity somewhere. And that's one of the changes I'd like to see made. And like with DHS, is to involve our kids in the community activities. Some of these kids turn 18 years old, they're in the street. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah, this public comment, you are part of the public.
No, we trying to go.
Madam Chair.
Amen. Yes, sir. And I want to thank you for that. And I just want to say, I didn't get my high school diploma until I was 31. So I'm pushing for education. I'm pushing for a better life. So I want to help little young ladies from being teenage mothers. By the time I was 19, I had 3 children. So I wanted to thank Parker. I don't know if he's here or not, but I wrote down all of the opportunities that he provided at the library, being that we could take the children to the libraries and take them to Exploration Place on Friday evenings when I get off of work to go watch the movies on the river. Like, we love to do this type of stuff. Like I want to give them opportunities I never had, like I said before. And that's time, that's attention, and that's hugs, that's love. That's even when they're mad, talk to me, let me know what's going on so I can help you and we can make it better. And that's the perfect neighborhood over there, I think, to have all these opportunities and access to get here and there and to and fro, and with good people like you all around, to help if you see something wrong or anything. But the only thing that we hope that would be going wrong is too much fun around there. I mean, but yes, I just want to thank you for that.
Any additional public comment? Not, we'll bring it back to the DAB. Looking for a recommendation. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
My name is Mitch Murray, and I live in the neighborhood.
Okay.
And one of the concerns that I had was the fact that it was proposed, but no one in the neighborhood was contacted as to whether or not they were in support of, in interest of, or anything else. Green is the first street west of Hillside that goes through. And it is like a speedway sometimes. We have a number of kids already in the neighborhood. There was a little girl that used to come up because I had seen something on TikTok where they would run up and ring the doorbell and then run off the porch. I didn't mind, but because traffic flies like it does, if she had got hit by a car, which is very possible because they fly up and down the street. And the mere fact that something like that was proposed, but no one in the neighborhood was contacted. I mean, I didn't even know about it until a neighbor said, "Did you happen to see?" And I think if you wanted to come into the neighborhood, that there should have been something left on doors or something. The only reason that I found out about the meeting today and the proposal was because a neighbor had had some contact. So, I mean, I think that if you want to be welcomed into the neighborhood under those circumstances, you need to make yourself known prior to coming into the neighborhood. And because we have the kids that we do in the neighborhood, I'm kind of like with the gentleman in the back, 2 people to supervise 10 kids is not enough, especially young kids, because young kids have not reached the point where they can think for themselves. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you for that. And for the, again, for it, it's up to 10 children, but depending on the state, in Kansas, depending on the age, you can have, the ratio is 1 to 7 in the daytime, and it's 1 to 10 in the evening. And the yard there is fenced in front and back. When my daughter was 16, I was still walking her to the bus stop. So you wouldn't have to, if the kids are anywhere out there outside of the fence or running around there doing anything, and we don't see and we're not out there supervising, which we should be, please let us know. And I do apologize that we didn't go about it the right way as in introducing ourselves. This was just an opportunity to see if it was going to work that way. And they did, I don't know if they sent them to everyone, but we did have to get a zoning sheet list done. And they, I believe, sent out in the mail to residents or owners of homes, letting them know that this process was being taken place.
There's 3 of us here and none of us got notice. The only thing that we saw was the little signs that have been put on the fence.
Yes, and I apologize about that because that was out of my hands. I did speak with the owner about if this did take place, when we are blessed with some children, like having a little like meet and greet and having everyone over for like some hot dogs and some chips and shake a hand, meet a friend, and this neighborhood could become family. Like, I mean, maybe we could fit into the family, right? So I do truly apologize about that. Nice to meet you. Thank you. Yes, nice to meet you.
Thanks so much. We're gonna close. Do we have another? Nope. Okay.
We got another one.
Okay, yes, sir. Go ahead and state your name for the record.
My name is Bruce Wayne Gill. I'm old enough not to be in the back there. Now, the reason I'm here, I live on Gray Street. And I'm kind of the dude, like I talked to the fellow down here, asked me what vulgarity was. He says, he didn't quite understand. Well, see, I know how to play the dozen. You got that? You know what that is, don't you?
No, sir.
Well, I'm gonna take you outside.
Oh, I know what that means.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right,
yeah.
No, see, now here's what the deal is. On my block, they call me Grandpa Bruce. I got books on my porch. Can you spell dog? Can you spell cat? Do you know who Mickey Mouse was? Yeah, I taught them how to spell encyclopedia. I also taught them, one of them got so good that they come back and they spell Czechoslovakia, so that's when I shut down. But now, here's what the deal is. I didn't know about it. I drove by, a fella said go by, I went by, I took a picture of the sign you got on the fence. What else, nobody ever talked to me and stuff like this right here. Now, I'm the dude on the block. If you can't do what you say, then you're gonna see me in person. But now watch this right here. What I want is for y'all to give me a group home someplace else. No. I didn't say move it. I said give me one that's already in operation. I want to go talk to the people that's running the show there. I want to talk to everybody on the block. Y'all don't have a problem with talking to people. If you talk to me long enough, you'll find out that I'm not educated, but I'm not ignorant. See, when you tell me something, it's gonna maybe pass y'all. I want to use ignorant 2 ways. Ignorant, as they said, you just don't know. If I say you ignorant, then you know what I'm talking about. At least you should anyway. So what I want to do, I want to make sure that this ain't no joke. I don't care about. Now you real nice and you talk very eloquently and stuff like this, and that's good. But what I don't want is something coming in that's gonna take it down. Now I'm gonna say some stuff that's pretty rough. We live over here in Northeast Wichita. Man, I got the house I got on the house that Elliot got. I know Elliot Purnell very well. House across the street's over 150 grand. I've been there long enough. I paid 10 for mine. So I'm seeing the change of the people. You got different class of people. You know what I mean when I talk about excluding you as different class. You think I'm not lying? I can take each one of y'all. You probably live in a nice area, but let me take you out on 13th and Rock Road to tell you what class is. They call them Coke engineering. So everything is going good. Could you put a group home? He's got enough property. Could you put the group home on his property? That's not what I'm saying. I'm trying to show you. When you come over and you don't do what you do, it makes me think you want to come in and just say, hell, I can just do anything and y'all won't say nothing. And most of them won't. Sure. I am beyond pissed. Now let me tell you why. They don't even cut the grass. They got grass growing in the sidewalk. What kind of, Bill, what I told you? Tell me to cut loose.
I don't believe I said that.
No, I was going to show you because see, all the words that you want to hear, I got them. I can quote the Bible. Let me tell you how. I'm going to bring this Bible stuff up to you. The Bible says salt water and fresh water shouldn't come from the same faucet. You ever heard that? You did that. Y'all probably didn't. But anyway, here's what the deal is. It said it shouldn't. It didn't say you couldn't. So that means that you shouldn't do stuff, but that don't mean you couldn't. So when you bring them kids in right here, we're going to have some stuff going on, and you ain't going to be able to handle stuff like this right here. I can tell you some things, but I'll be talking about your partner, so I ain't going to do that right there. See, I'll watch kids. I sit on the porch all day long. That's what our grandpa do, just sit there, I'm retired. I watch kids, some of them is just straight out ignorant. And they the ones that live on the block. So when you bring new ones on the block, I mean, man, they out there in the street doing stuff. I said, hell, they might get run over by a car. So bitch talking about green streets going through stuff like this right here. I don't understand parents that don't take care of the kids. So now how you gonna take care of all these others? Now you say you can, cause see, most kids that wasn't raised by a man or a woman, it's like, see, y'all didn't change the rules so bad, we can't even whoop that behind. That's the ignorance can be. If I tell you to do something and you tell me you ain't gonna do it, now I ain't gonna use the word, you just told me to F myself. That's what you told me. Get out of the street. They just stay out there. Now you tell me what that means. You got a dog and you tell him to get out the street. He don't get out the street. He told you the same thing. So what you do with the dog, put something on his behind. I want to see what y'all gonna do when the kids really get ignorant.
Grandpa Bruce, you have 30 seconds left.
Okay, now I'm gonna shut it down right there. Now what I want to do is catch you outside. No, I don't mean for that no ignorant stuff. I don't. You gonna have a conversation that you ain't gonna believe. When you see me again, that's what I wanted to say, but I didn't.
Yes, sir. Any additional public comment?
Thank you, Grandpa, and just give me an opportunity.
No, you tell her to talk through, you know.
Yes, sir.
But I'm coming to see you.
Oh, yes, sir. I'll be there. And we're gonna keep up the yard and everything.
Okay, we're gonna bring it back to the DAB for a recommendation.
I can make a motion to deny, and I'll tell you why. I'm gonna take a playbook from your predecessor, Brandon Johnson.
Okay.
Whenever you have a neighborhood doesn't talk to itself, you got trouble. And you have some time to get to know this neighborhood and for them to get to know you. Regardless, if we're gonna deny this, then that's gonna give you time to get to know your neighbors, to get to know the neighborhood, and for things to happen or not happen. But everything I've heard here is exactly what I've heard in the Northeast Heights from Mr. Roseborough for the last 20 years. And you fortunately have some time. You're not at the over the barrel yet. So I think whether you see it or not, this is God giving you a gift. Take a minute and spend a little time getting to know things around Green Street, around that neighborhood, and then perhaps come back.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there going to be a second?
Can't second that.
I will not second that.
Is there a second?
No.
Okay, motion fails. Open it back up for
I'm gonna make a motion to pass this because I do believe it goes along with our golden rules. I do believe that the timing is everything, that we need to have more available options now, that we don't put things off to build something that can't happen if we don't pass something now. And our job is to look at the golden rules, look at what has been presented, and I believe that it goes along with what we should be doing in our communities.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second, I second the motion.
It's been moved by Natalie, seconded by Twyla. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor of, are you wanting to do it with the approval of condition?
With the conditions, yes.
All those in favor of approval with condition, say aye.
Aye.
Nay, same sign. 1, 2, 3, 4. Passes 4-1.
Either 5. I mean,
There's 5.
I think there's 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. There is 5-1. Sorry.
No one online.
Is there anyone on Zoom, Samari?
No one is on Zoom. 5-1. Thank you.
1. Please keep in mind, this will now go to the city council. It will be voted on at the council level. And Brad, before you move on to the next case, can you briefly mention why some residents did not receive notification?
So Kansas state law requires us to notify owners of the properties within 200 feet of the subject property in question. Now, so we do that, we require the applicant to go to a title company and get a list of all of those owners. Up until this point in time, we have not required anybody other than owners of property, but as Councilmember Shepherd understands, I think beginning maybe tomorrow, we are also going to require notifying people who live at the properties as well, not just the owners, but people who live at the properties as well. So if you rent, you will also get notification as well. So that's what we do. We actually go beyond what Kansas State requires as properties get bigger, but for this location, it would have been at 200 foot. And then also, she's supposed to put signs on the property, so that's one way. And then also, we require notification in the paper as well. So there's 3 avenues that we kind of are required to meet, and so that's what we do.
Thank you, Brad. I will go on record and say that when this comes to the city council, I will ask the question,
Yes.
what have you done to engage the neighbors?
Amen.
And my decision from the bench will be contingent on that.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
We'll now move on to CUP 2026-00015. Thank you.
Yes. Once again, Brad Otherly, MAPD. For this case, the applicant is requesting a minor amendment to the WDC Community Unit Plan, which is DP 158. This is to allow vehicle and equipment sales outdoor as a permitted use for the rental of moving vans and trailers. The subject site is 0.73 acres in size and is zoned LC and is located at 3311 North Rock Road. The subject site is currently in use as a service station. This does stem from the applicant establishing a business on the subject property while not understanding that the site was prohibited for those uses within the CUP, but after receiving a zoning enforcement violation, they shut down the operation and did submit an application to permit the use on the site. So parcel 2 is permitted all uses that are allowed in the LC district, except for those listed in the staff report. And so vehicle and equipment sales outdoors not usually permitted in the LC district unless it's by conditional use. So this amendment would take place of that conditional use. When established in the LC district, the vehicle and equipment sales is subject to the supplementary use regulations, and those are attached as a report at the end, an attachment at the end of the report. And the staff recommendation is to limit the use to just vehicle rental only. It's a U-Haul, so we're not going to be having a used car dealership there. It's just going to be renting vehicles, equipment. As far as setbacks they're established within the CUP as 35-foot setbacks from both 32nd Street North and North Rock Road, and the maximum height is 80 feet. As far as screening is not required for this portion of parcel 2. For the CUP, the use of vehicle equipment sales is exempt from providing a landscape street yard. However, there is no exception from parking lot screening, so staff is recommending that the condition of approval would be requiring parking lot screening. As far as signage goes, signs are permitted by zoning district and shall be permitted in accordance with provisions of section 2804-139 of the Code of the City of Wichita. That's all that's in the CUP. This specific code reference has been repealed and replaced with the Wichita Sign Code. This is an old CUP. And so staff is recommending that we revise the language to just be in accordance with the LC district of the sign code, while keeping the several administrative adjustments that have occurred over the years. And one of those adjustments was for reducing the spacing between 2 signs from 150 feet to 100 feet and increasing one of the signs by 20% in this particular parcel. So just kind of updating the provisions to get it current while keeping those adjustments that have taken place. As far as parking shall be in accordance with the UZC. which requires one parking stall per 500 square feet of building. Floor area plus 2 spaces for the first 10,000 square feet of lot area. And 1 space for each 10,000 square feet of lot area for sales, display, or storage. So they'll have to meet those. I don't think that'll be a problem on this site. As far as zoning, property to the north and west is zoned LC, is within the same CUP as developed with car wash. This is also part of parcel 2, which the site is on. Property to the east is across North Rock Road and is zoned LC. It's in a different CUP, 188. It's developed with general retail. Property to the south is zoned LC and is in the same CUP as the subject property and is developed with restaurant. It was platted as part of the Killarney Plaza 4th edition in 1990, and it was approved with the WDC Community Unit Plan in '86. Like I said, there have been several amendments and adjustments, but those sign adjustments are the ones that we are most concerned about, and we'll incorporate that into the language. As far as public services, it has access to East 32nd Street North and North Rock Road. Transit does serve the site, and municipal services are available. The proposed amendment is in conformance to the Community Investments Plan. The future growth map identifies the area to be appropriate for commercial, which reflects the full diversity of commercial development intensities and types found in a large urban municipality. As far as land use compatibility, under guideline number 1A, higher intensity development should be discouraged from locating in areas of existing lower intensity development. This is a very high intensity portion of Rock Road that we don't see a problem with. So staff does recommend that the amendment be approved subject to the conditions that are listed in the report. And that does, again, mention the updated language and the parking lot screening would be required. These are based on the building factors. We've had no public comment, and it did get approved at MAPC last Thursday. So with that, I can stand for any questions.
Are there any questions for staff at this time?
Yeah, you said when you started, or maybe I missed it, did you say something about they were cited for putting something there and then they let them?
They were operating as a business, U-Haul business, and they just didn't realize. Sometimes you go and you think you can just go do this on this property, and they immediately, once the enforcement came in and said, hey, this isn't legal based on the CUP, they removed the business and waited until this is, technically they can actually still operate until this is kind of adjudicated, but they've decided to remove it and wait until it's done. So, yep.
So I've got some questions. So the proposed use to permit vehicle and equipment sales, but is rentals and sales the same?
No, and so one of the conditions, if you thought that we had a condition that it would only be for rentals only. I don't see that in the conditions though.
While you're looking at that,
But you can make that condition from the bench.
Yeah, that's what I was.
And that's what we meant to do. I think that we just missed it somehow because it is stated in the report.
Those say vehicle and equipment sales outdoor normally permitted in the LC district by condition.
Correct, but this is because this is in a CUP, they specifically did not allow that, but we are going further and saying no sales, just rentals. Well, that was the intent, and I apologize that it's not in the.
Well, I just saw it under
Yeah.
proposed use. Maybe it's somewhere else in there,
No,
but under
it's
the
in the
proposed use.
report that we want that, but we apparently did not get it in the conditions. So I apologize, but you can add that condition if you would like.
So,
And-
but what are they going to be renting? I mean, you said U-Haul.
Yeah, trucks, rental, any kind of vehicle that,
And they'll be stored on the site?
Yes, they would be allowed to have that on the site.
Okay, so the owner agent will be here, is here?
Yes.
Okay, I'll
Yes.
ask questions and.
Any additional questions for staff? We'll move on to the agent applicant.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
You can state your name for the record,
Yes,
please.
my name is Denise Gregg. I'm an area field manager for the U-Haul company. I'm based here out of Wichita. So I'm the one that submitted the application. Just to kind of clarify a couple of things, we will not be doing any kind of equipment sales at this location. If we do truck sales, they have to meet a certain criteria. This is not a location I want to do this at. So in U-Haul, a lot of times what we do is we set lot limits. We decide how much equipment is allowed on a property at any given time. To be honest with you, I don't want trucks on this property. If I have trucks on this property, that means we're not helping customers and families move and nobody is making money. So my goal is to have very limited equipment on this lot. I want this equipment being utilized out in the community. So the reason that I have applied for this, the previous owner, we had a U-Haul dealership out for about 1.5 years. I had no issues. It was bought out and we received a citation. As soon as I was notified, I immediately removed all of our equipment because I'm not trying to break the law. So I removed everything and we ceased doing business there. I believe it was about 90 days ago. There will only be trucks at this location. There will be no trailers or towing. That's not to say something would not be dropped off, but as it is currently, this location will only be dispatching trucks. Looking at my strategy map on my iPad, we have over 1,000 customers within a 5-mile radius that are using U-Haul currently. Across the street, there's a Penske dealer on the other side of K96. Based off my experience with the previous location that was doing U-Haul, it was very productive, what we consider by our standards, and there was very rarely any equipment on the lot. If signage is a concern or anything like that, I'm willing to obviously follow any laws. I don't want to create any kind of environment that's unsafe for anybody trying to exit out off onto Rock Road or anything like that. So.
No, I'm a little confused. There will or won't be trucks on the lot?
There will be, but
There will be trucks.
yes,
Okay, I
ma'am.
thought you said there weren't. Okay.
Well, I'm hoping that there's not, because if we have trucks on the lot, if they're rented, then that means they're not physically gonna be there, and that's what we want. And based off this location, this is the farthest location I have in Northeast Wichita, and if most people move within a couple of miles, this is less of a carbon footprint on the environment.
Okay, so, but there's a service station there. You own the service station?
I do not own the service
So
station.
you're just leasing a little ground space or something
So
there?
the owner unfortunately could not be here. I'm the representative of U-Haul.
Right,
Mhm.
okay. Well, I'll tell you my concern.
Yes, ma'am.
I think this is where my husband drags me when he feels like he has to buy a lottery ticket to that service station. They sell lottery tickets, right?
Yes, ma'am. I think so.
And that place is challenging because I don't ever agree with where he's parking. Do you get the gas over here and then do you park like this? Do you park like this? And how do you get around? So I feel like it's already a very congested space just for that. And so I don't know where you're gonna put the equipment and to keep it safe for people getting in and out of the store. That's my personal concern because I've been there a lot of times. I mean, you don't have a problem, but he does.
So we do have two exits or entrances, however you want to look at it, one on the 32nd and one on the Rock Road. Going onto Rock Road, you can only go to the south. I've never had anything over 5 trucks at that location previously.
Where are you gonna park them? In the back?
Okay, so what we normally do is you have the gas pumps on the south side. We normally park them right along the side or off Rock Road facing, so that way potential families can see that we have that equipment for rent, or along the north side of the gas pumps next to the car wash with plenty of room for customers to maneuver as well as delivery vehicles. But again, we have the option to cap how many pieces of equipment are on that lot.
Any additional questions for the applicant?
The car wash is inactive, is that correct?
The car wash at this location, yes, is currently inactive. However, there is a car wash right next door.
Right.
Separate property, there's a fence, separating this location. Yes.
Okay, so what Twyla is saying, off what she is saying, so you're talking about 5 trucks maybe?
Potentially, yes.
What's the most you would park?
Well, again, I mean, given, the conditions that you guys would allow me to have, I can cap it at whatever you guys feel is the most safe. Me personally, I would probably not do more than 4 or 5, depending on the size of the truck, just because of the size of the property. I mean, I don't want to, my job is to go out and find independent business owners that want to make a secondary income, with, their business. My goal is not to interfere with their primary. My goal is to share customers. My goal is to help people get their moves done. Most people move because they have to, not because they want to. And my goal and my job is to provide customers with the lowest cost possible. So if I have a location close to them, because we do charge per mile.
Did I hear you say this is the most northeast you have?
This is the farthest northeast in Wichita that I currently have next to Bel Air.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions for the agent from the public?
Right. So the U-Haul down there by the bypass 21st.
I'm sorry?
Those are U-Hauls.
Are you talking about 21st and I-35?
Yes.
Okay, so that's gonna be another area field manager's territory. I go basically north of Central, and then once we hit I-35, north of 21st is my area. I'm sorry.
It's a different area.
Yeah, so basically that's where our cutoff is. So that's another area field manager's location. Are you talking about PMP, Seed Bank?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Quite a few U-Hauls there.
Okay. Right. Speaking of quite a few U-Hauls.
Yes, sir.
Can I?
Yeah, are there any more questions from the public for the agent? If not, we'll bring questions here.
So I live close to the 21st Woodlawn packaging store.
Mhm.
Very friendly guys.
Mhm.
I've rented U-Hauls from them many times. Lately, their parking lot there is just full of product. Are you routing product from other locations that can't handle the excess at this point? Or?
So I can to be totally honest with you, with U-Haul, it's feast or famine. I can tell you, we have had an abundance of equipment in our area currently, our marketing company, which is a good thing because that means we're bringing people to Wichita. That means there's something in our community that's bringing people here. That is, again, this is not my territory, that location, but that is the #1 U-Haul dealer in Wichita currently. So
You're very go-getting.
yeah, but I can tell you this, we had our busy season from like Memorial Day until Labor Day, so all that equipment that you're seeing is getting ready to leave.
Anyone from the public thank you so much for
Thank you.
that. Anyone from the public would like to comment on this case matter? All right, seeing none, we'll bring it back to the DAB for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve with the added condition of no equipment sales.
Motion has been made. Is there a second? It's been properly moved by Steve, second by Rachel. All those in favor, please respond. Oh, any discussion? Sorry. All right, seeing none, all those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The ayes have it, 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to case BUD 2026-00010.
Yes, once again, thank you, Brad Etherly and MAPD. For this case, the applicant is requesting an amendment to the Fairmount Commons PUD, just PUD number 78, to permit an illuminated building sign that is greater than 15 inches in height. Subject site is 0.306 acres in size and is located at 1717 North Vassar Avenue. It is currently developed as a multifamily dwelling. The proposed amendment would only apply to the subject building as described and bring the existing sign into conformance with the PUD 78 provisions. The sign provisions within PUD 78 currently state that LED and electronic message center signs are prohibited on all parcels, and any request to permit any such signs shall be approved by an amendment to the PUD instead of an administrative adjustment. Parcel 1 shall have one 4-foot tall by 50-foot wide sign, backlit with LEDs on the north side elevation above the third floor windows of the residential building on the lots 22, 24, 26, 28, and 30 of parcel 1. That stems from a PUD roughly about a year ago that your body saw. Basically, it's the same PUD, same owners. What they've done for both of these is establish the signs that were not legal conforming to the PUD, and they've had to come back and ask for an amendment. And those were approved. The first one was approved about a year ago. As far as the sign code for the city of Wichita, the signs in all districts are permitted identification signs when consisting of letters 15 inches or less in height, and are securely attached so that they're an architectural detail of the building, and that they are not illuminated apart from the building or entrance way. So the applicant is requesting that the PUD number 78 permit one 18-foot by 7-foot-6-inch LED illuminated sign on the north elevation between the second and third floors. This particular address, this would allow a building sign with letters that are 6 times the height permitted by the sign code. A building sign that is backlit, illuminated with LEDs is not considered an LED sign. So what they're proposing is not what is prohibited. So just so you know that, as far as the LED portion. Just a little bit of case history. In 2020, the city council did approve the current PUD, and it permitted the development standards that are in the staff report. In 2022, the council approved an amendment that expanded the parcel 1 boundaries and added parcel 2. It also prohibited those signs, those LED signs, and required an amendment in order to permit these signs. And then in 2025, again, the one that was approved on the west side of the PUD about a year ago. As far as zoning, the area goes around the property. It's multifamily residential with several surface area parking lots that serve WSU. Property to the north is zoned LC. Limited commercial is developed with surface parking. Property to the east is zone B, multifamily, is developed with multifamily dwelling. And properties to the west and south are zoned part of the PUD 78 and are developed with multifamily dwellings. The only other part of case history that I'll mention is that it was platted as part of the Fairmount Edition in 1887. It has access to North Vassar Avenue with sidewalks on both sides. City services serve the site, and Wichita Transit provides regular transit near the site at North Hillside and within a half-mile north of the Wichita State campus. As far as plans and policies, the proposed amendment is not in conformance with the Community Investments Plan. The requested PUD amendment concerns signage, not land use. We take a look at the locational guidelines. And under land use compatibility, guideline 2A does speak to limiting adverse impacts of multifamily developments. It states that accessory dwelling units, duplexes, and small-scale multifamily developments can be appropriate in existing residential areas if appropriate site design limits adverse impacts on surrounding residential uses. Design of the buildings is compatible with existing residences, and the scale of the development is compatible with the intensity of the surrounding area. Staff feels like the large lighted proposed sign could be seen as sign clutter in the area and detrimental to nearby properties. And then as far as the places for people plan, it's not in conformance with that either. Strategy 6 is to encourage infill and redevelopment that is contextual to the environment in which it is occurring. The requested PUD amendment would allow a type and size of sign that is uncommon in the surrounding context to the east and west and south. However, the sign would be allowed on the LC zone property to the north, and a similar sign was allowed on adjacent property to the west a year ago. As far as the Central Northeast Neighborhood Plan, it does not address signage generally. However, Section 9.4 does state a goal to improve neighborhood signage. And that includes to determine the type, style, and location of signs needed throughout the area, including neighborhood signs, entryway features, direction signs to area attractions, neighborhood watch signs, monuments, recreational signs, etc., and to coordinate with the City Wichita Public Works Department to obtain a copy of the rules and regulations pertaining to sign placement. Staff believes this is specific to adding signage that identifies neighborhoods within the plan and not speaking to signage that might be placed on multifamily residential or commercial buildings. But regardless, we do believe that the proposed signage is not in conformance with the overall intent of the plan. And just to get into the sign code a little bit, per the sign code, the sign would not be allowed in this zoning district if it was not in a PUD, which is the B zoning district. It would be allowed in the LC zoning district. The PUD does have sign regulations based on the B district, so that's why we bring that up. Properties immediately to the north are zoned LC and are in use as parking lots. So with all that, staff does recommend denial, and this is based off the golden factors. There has been no public comment, and there is an alternate action, as we always provide, or typically provide. So if you do feel like it's appropriate, there are conditions listed in the staff report, and I'll just go through them real quick. The elimination of the building sign shall be limited to being backlit, and that the applicant shall obtain all applicable permits for the sign. And with that, I can stand for any questions.
Yes. Go ahead.
Did you say at the beginning they have a sign that is out of conformance?
Right.
That current sign is.
They did not. So these are pictures. Thank you, Maria. Of the signs on the building, those are technically supposed to be 15 inches tall. What they've done with both this one and the one to the west that they got a year ago, they put these up. I don't know what happened as far as getting them up and getting them on the building without getting permits, but they were found, and we realized that these were not in conformance. I don't know if it was through a zoning enforcement situation, through a complaint, or what. I don't know the mechanics of that, but what happened was, as I was dealing with this case a year ago on the other property to the west, I happened to notice as I was taking site pics that this one also is in the same PUD and was also out of conformance. The sign inspector that we had also was aware of this, so she was working with the owner of the properties, trying to get it fixed. And we did recommend denial for the one a year ago, and it was approved. And so I think to be consistent, we're still recommending denial, but have provided those alternate conditions.
What is PUD? I'm new. What is
Sure.
PUD and the?
Sure. A PUD is, I'm sorry.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, a PUD is what we call a planned unit development, and basically it allows for a developer to create zoning standards like setbacks, height, uses that are allowed in the property that would be different from what would normally be allowed. And so, typically they don't go crazy because we wouldn't approve something like that, but they do usually vary from what's standard in the zoning code slightly. And so when they do create a PUD, they have to think about all the things: parking, landscaping, screening, uses, height, signage, all these things. And so if they ever want to change anything that's been approved already, instead of getting a conditional use or something like that, they usually come in and amend the planned unit development.
Any additional questions for staff?
The height issue is because they're illuminated. Do I understand that?
No. So
the height period.
The illumination actually is not really a problem so much because what they're doing with the backlighting is not prohibited. an LED sign, I don't even really know how to explain it, but having it backlit is not an issue. But we are suggesting that if you approve it, that we make a condition that it is only backlit. The real problem is the size of the sign. You can see the dwell, especially, but even the apartments part may be bigger than 15 inches. They're only supposed to be 15 inches high. And they're at least 4 feet or more. And so that's the problem. And it's the same problem from, some of y'all weren't here a year ago. I recognize many new faces. And so that was the same issue last year. That one eventually got approved. So
How have,
they're legal now.
how have they responded?
Well, they've actually been really good to work with. Very good communication. I don't know if they're in here today. Doesn't look like it, but they've actually been very good. They got the one done a year ago, and I think they just, I don't speak for anybody, but just were not understanding or trying to figure out, how to get all of it taken care of. And so they've come back a year later to get this one taken care of.
Oh, go ahead.
So seems to me the cat's already out of the bag. The other sign was approved. It's been okay. No huge backlash from the neighborhood, and it's pretty safe to say that area of that North Dakota issue is evolving very rapidly. So, just for a little context.
You said that AJ was not here.
It doesn't,
is my
doesn't
understanding.
look like it.
Okay. Any questions?
Which sign was approved last year? I wasn't here.
Sure. So if we can,
Has it
Maria, if you can go back to like the site plan.
Same sign, other side of the.
Yeah, just the one right there is good. So this building right here to the west is within the same PUD. This is all PUD. This building right here is what we're talking about today. Last year we came because of this building. They had basically done something very similar to the north face of this apartment building. So basically coming down 17th Street, you can see this pretty vividly, as well as the dwell apartments. So this was an amendment last year to allow that to be approved.
What size was that? Do you know?
Those were, I think, 4 feet high.
Okay, and they were approved.
Yes.
Got approved at city council. I can't remember.
I think it was here.
Yeah.
I believe they got one.
lively discussion about it. I do remember this.
Let's move on to public comment.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you, Mr. Barnes.
So this is more for the record in here. We talk about the properties over here. I was at the meeting last year when they talked about these properties and all this PUD area that's developed in here. It's basically same development, warehouse, stuff of nature here. This little property right over here, this is me, right here, right across from it. Sign points this way. So my only comment is most of this is pointing towards 17th. So when I tell you this one, it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. So if you're gonna allow him, because I'm doing exploratory best use for my property as well. If you're gonna allow him to have it, when I bring mine up here, I'll bring this up again in here, and I want you to stay consistent. Because every time something happens in here, and I come in here, it seems like it gets denied, but it gets to the council and gets approved. So it seems like these developers get this about everything they want and get away with everything they want. So I'm just gonna put this for the record. When I start my development over here, good for the goose, good for the gander, okay?
Does it work like that?
Any other public comment? Any other public comment regarding this case? If not, I'll bring it back to the DAB for a recommended motion or a motion.
Make a motion to approve with the backlight.
Okay, it's been moved by Steve and seconded by Rachel to approve with the backlit condition, backlighting condition. Discussion.
I'm just gonna add to when the conversation comes up. I like good signage. I really like good signage. And so this is really big though. I mean, when it's the size of your apartment.
Well, when I say this portion over here, when I say it may not be the.
Mr. Barnes, we gotta.
Thank you. But I do agree with you on the motion, so.
Did you have a question?
I just wanted to clarify, the alternate has two conditions. If you want to add both or not. The applicant would obtain all applicable permits for the sign.
Absolutely. City's gotta get those.
You're right.
That did bring up a quick question though. If we deny this, what kind of physical, or what kind of monetary hardship does that create? You have to remove it, right? Yeah, remove it. Pay
They would have to remove it.
Yeah, have to pay for a sign and all that, so but yeah, they have to obtain all applicable permits. It's, yeah, exactly. Okay.
That was the alternative, Brad, right? Any other discussion from the DAB?
I'm just gonna go on record again, saying that we have the planning committee and I like it better when we follow their recommendation. Because we're not experts in all of this, so just because we've done it once doesn't make it right. And in my view, we shouldn't do it again. If it's against their recommendations. I wouldn't, if I lived in that neighborhood and I wouldn't like, and that lighted sign, I think it's gonna devalue property also. So just for the record.
Appreciate that. We'll make sure we get that reflected in the comments. A motion has been made to approve with the alternative requirements provided by staff. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Nay.
Okay. 4-2. 4-2. Approved. Thank you. We'll move on to our final case for the evening, zoning case 2026-00022.
Yes, once again, thank you, Brad Etherly, MAPD. For this case, the applicant is requesting a zone change from SF5, single family residential to GC General Commercial District. This property is located at 2901 North Fountain Avenue. Zamaria has it up on the map here. The application stems from another zoning enforcement case for having portable storage containers on properties zoned SF5. So portable storage containers are a defined use of another broader use called storage outdoor in the UZC. Additionally, storage outdoor is considered an industrial use in the UZC. This particular use is prohibited as a use in the SF5 district and is really only allowed in the GC Commercial District, the CBD Central Business District, Limited Industrial, General Industrial, and Air Force Base District. The site is currently developed with a single family dwelling with outdoor storage in place as an accessory use. But these are not permitted in any residential zoning districts. The aerial image does indicate what appears to be 3 portable storage containers. One and a portion of another appear to not be wholly within the applicant's property. So a zone change to general commercial would allow for the development of a wide variety of higher intensity commercial uses, manufacturing uses, all housing types, and public and civic uses. It would also allow changes to the minimum lot area, minimum lot width, and setback requirements as demonstrated in the table in the report. The UZC requires compatibility standards for side and rear lot lines of property zone MF18 or less restrictive when they are within 500 feet of a property zone TF3 or more restrictive. So in this case, that would be the case. And basically, compatibility setback standards would not be required to be more than 25 feet on the rear and side property lines. Also, compatibility height standards would apply as well. Screening, a 6 to 8 foot solid screening fence is required where commercial but single family zoning. So for this case, this would include all sides. portable storage containers can be used as solid screening so long as there are not openings. The Wichita Landscape Code requires a landscape street yard with parking lot screening along North Fountain Avenue because it is adjacent to a local street and is across from a residential district. And finally, a landscape buffer would be required along all property lines. These property lines have existing mature trees, so there's a possibility that those could be counted towards the landscaping requirement. However, a landscape plan must be submitted to the department for review and approval. Parking shall adhere to the UZC for single family and duplex development. Parking would be one per dwelling unit. For storage outdoor as a principal use, the UZC requires one parking space per 10,000 square feet. Doesn't really talk about accessory use. And so we would likely consider this dual primary uses for that. The character of the area is low density residential. Property to the north and west is zoned SF5 and is undeveloped. It's actually kind of a strange mixture of park and undeveloped privately owned land. I don't really know how else to describe it. Properties to the south and, are zoned SF5 and are undeveloped and developed with a single family dwelling. Properties to the east are zoned SF5 and are undeveloped and developed with a single family dwelling. All the undeveloped properties are basically de facto reserves of the Chisholm Park Estates Edition. On August 19th, 1959, it was platted as part of the Chisholm Park Estates Edition, and there are no other zoning cases associated with the site. The site has access to North Fountain Avenue, which is a paved 2-lane local street with no sidewalks. Chisholm Greenway Bike Trail is adjacent to the subject site, and the site has access to water and sewer, and transit does not provide regular bus service to the area. As far as plans and policies, it is not in conformance with the community investments plan. The future growth map recommends the subject site is appropriate for residential uses, which are areas that reflect the full diversity of residential development densities and types found in large municipalities. As far as locational guidelines, under land use compatibility, guideline 1A states that higher intensity development should be discouraged from locating in areas of existing lower intensity development, particularly established low density residential areas. The GC district allows for a wide range of commercial uses, several industrial, manufacturing, and extractive uses. And this area is not appropriate for such a zoning designation. And guideline 1B under land use compatibility states that industrial and major commercial land uses that generate pollution, odor, noise, light, safety hazards, and high levels of traffic should be located away from residential areas, developed with screening, buffering, and site design features to mitigate those impacts. The proposed zoning and use are in the middle of a residential neighborhood, although screening, buffering, and compatibility standards would be required. Staff has determined this would not, this would still likely be detrimental to the surrounding properties. And then it's not in conformance with the goals of the Wichita Places for People plan. It does not align with strategy 3, which is to improve the economic feasibility of commercial service uses in the markets necessary to support them. Once again, this request is in a large residential development that is not appropriate for a commercial or industrial district or use. And strategy 6 is to encourage infill and redevelopment that is contextual to the environment in which it is occurring. And that would not be the case for this situation. The Northeast Heights Comprehensive Plan is not in conformance with that. It says that it is. That's a typo. The map identifies the subject site as appropriate for residential urban, which is not defined in the plan amendment, but the proposed district is obviously not appropriate for this site. And so staff does recommend that the request for general commercial be denied. This is based off of the golden factors. And one member of the public did call and speak to me and is opposed to the request. With that, I can stand for any questions.
Any questions for staff at this time?
They were proposed against.
Yeah, they did not. They did
this.
not want this.
Okay. So I just want to be clear, like, they don't have a plan for these. They're just sitting on their driveway.
They are on their property, and maybe not even all the way on their property.
That was my question, like what the use.
You'd have to ask the applicant. I don't know if they're here.
The applicant, not yet.
But essentially, you know, we don't allow portable storage units in residential uses. And so what you might see a lot of times are pods or construction, you know, in residential, you know, zoning districts. And people think, well, you know, it's just temporary, or they're not allowed. They're not allowed. And so people don't want to hear that sometimes because they're like, well, what am I supposed to do with this construction that I'm doing, or these pods that I have for moving, or whatever the case may be. And so, you know, in order to get that use of outdoor storage, which contains the use of portable storage containers, they have to zone change. And so we just don't believe that this is an appropriate location for general commercial.
Thank you.
Brad, so going to your storage outdoor, if this was a shed or a detached garage or structure that, it's not that that's allowed in SM5, am I correct?
Correct. Those are considered accessory uses that are permitted.
Are there items being stored in these pods that are unsafe that couldn't be stored in a regular
You'd have to ask
conforming?
You'd have to ask the applicant that question. What they have are portable storage containers, and that's not allowed.
Is the agent or applicant in present? Right. See, we'll go out to the public for public comment.
Okay, I can't wait.
Yes, sir. Come on in.
Okay.
Say your name for the record.
I want to tell everybody good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Fred Keitar Jr. I stay across the street. It's really a bad site. It's been there for about 3 years, if not more. They really don't have no place to park a commercial vehicle there. And matter of fact, we have kids that run through there during the school year, probably, I say every other day, where they have kids come through there. It's a beautiful area, has deer, turkeys, all that wide open. I figure if they bring that into our area, it's going to make it look bad. As a matter of fact, it does make it look bad. Here a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, a block down, another couple had some crates in there, and they made them move them out. But this people here are trying to keep them, so they really need to be out of there. So I rest my case, and I want to tell you, my neighbors are here, so you probably might hear something from them. So anyway,
thank you.
Everybody have a great evening.
You as well. Thank you for being
Can I
here.
ask a question? But so if they built like an actual structure there, though, that wouldn't bother you. It's how it exists in the present. Is that true? I just want to make sure I understand.
Even if they built one, they wouldn't. They have two. One is bigger than the other.
But if they built a garage there instead of these,
If that was a garage or a shed, even, it'd be all right.
They have to follow the building codes. Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public would like to speak on this case? Come on up and state your name for the record.
I'm Hillary McKinley. I live across the street, one house down from Mr. Hightower. And when we moved there 4 years ago, there was one storage unit, and her whole front yard, her whole porch was completely covered in building materials. You couldn't see the front door, you couldn't see nothing. We actually did a renovation on our own house, and within, maybe it was a year ago, the second shipping container arrived. Her cars can't quite get on fully on her driveway. There are sometimes 3 cars that are parked there. Her backyard is completely full of junk. It has, what are those called? Pallets. There's tree shrubs. Her home, you can't see it here. It's not finished on the outside. When she did remove, when the complaint, I filed the complaint for the debris on the porch, her home isn't bricked. It's drywall or whatever the outside structures are. It's pink. It's not, it's weatherproofing or something. So I'm not sure why she needs storage units, but I also don't want it to be rezoned a general commercial. Her house can be ugly, her house can be whatever color, but zoning it general commercial to me is wrong. We live in a beautiful residential community. We all take pride in our yards. We don't need her having some sort of business or requiring some business that is pretty relaxed on what she can put on her property. General commercial opens a lot of doors for her. And she really is just a person that lives on the street that wants to keep the storage units. If the storage units were allowed in Wichita, fair enough, right? I mean, doesn't want them to paint them, to make them pretty in their backyard, fair enough, but they're not allowed. And she's skirting the issue, trying to rezone at the end on a nature reserve into general commercial, which to me is wrong.
Thank you so much. Any additional comment from the public? Yes, sir.
Do I have to come up to the stand?
You can sit right there.
But anyway, a little background, Joe, I know you know, and some of the rest of you know who I am also. But I'm gonna say this, as president of that neighborhood association for too long, I'm no longer president, but that area right there it's a no-no. If you look at the sign here, the turn before you get to that property leads down to Brook Street, coming down Fountain. All that area is eroded. And we do not need anything to go home, any more traffic in that, to keep that heavier. If you went down and took a look on 4327 Brook, you can wait to see where the city has got that all rocked in. Come down Fountain, going off on Fountain, you can see where they got that tree all blocked in with rocks. And Mr. Barnes said he did yeoman's work. We had a flood back in 2013. I don't know if any of you guys old enough to remember that or not, but that whole area was underwater big time. That's that's a wildlife area. You want to see deer, you want to see possum, and please, I hate to say raccoon, bobcats, turkey, anything you can see it in that area. And this area is a no-no. It really is. It's a sore sight and something that's really beautiful. That was one of the prettiest neighborhoods in all of Sedgwick County. What we have done, we've let changes take away that beauty. And that's what's happening here. And that is a no-no. So I'm 100% along with the city, planning department on denying this request.
Thank you
It
so much.
serves no purpose. Serves no purpose.
And I want to amen on that because I'm in the neighborhood to the south, right next door. And we have my kitchen window. When I look out, I can't see anything pretty. I just see all of the debris that was on the porch for I don't know how many years. And she was trying to, I guess, remodel something, but I just didn't understand the mess that was there. And it's just not right for our neighborhood to go down like that. Like the children from Brooks Junior High, sure. The teachers have them coming, running down that trail, and that's what the children enjoy. But we don't want it to be turned into a commercial.
It's right on the back there.
So we're all in cahoots, all of us, Lonnie and all of us.
Steve, did you have a comment?
No.
Okay, we're gonna bring it back to the DAB for a motion. Okay, it's been properly moved by Steve, seconded by Rachel to deny. Any discussion?
I have a question. Has anybody talked to the homeowner?
I have.
Okay.
I talked to her a couple of times. I asked her, had she approached any of the other neighbors to talk to them about the situation. She said she was going to go over there and talk to them, but she didn't talk to anybody. So, and she thought I was going to agree with what was going on. And if the container was going to be there just for just a short period of time, I could have accepted that. But now you done bought in the commercial C1. I think that's what it is. And We're not ready for nothing like that, not in that neighborhood.
Okay, thank you.
I've spoken to her twice and both times were not pleasant. It wasn't in regards to her storage units, it was in regard to our renovation. She came in and harassed our contractor and so I haven't spoken about this, but I have spoken to her.
Okay, thank you.
Got a motion on the table. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it with unanimous denial. Thank you so much, Brad. Appreciate you being here. Move into section 12, updates, issues, and reports. We'll start down here. Any updates, issues, or reports?
Would like to add on to the library report earlier, the Wichita Symphony will be going out to some public libraries and other spaces over the summer to do free short, small performances. So it will be on their website, and I'd encourage you to go. I mean, they're certainly here for families and children, but some of our talented musicians from the Wichita Symphony will be participating in that, and they welcome anyone who wants to participate. So please go check out one at one of your local libraries.
Thank you. Haley.
I had the opportunity to shadow our fire chief on Tuesday, and if you guys have not done a fire ride along, I have never, this is something that I do not. Please go find a firefighter or ask your fire department next to wherever you live and go on a fire ride along, because it is so eye-opening to see just how many calls they go on and what kind of calls they go on. I did one with the fire department over Thanksgiving break, and then I got to shout out Chief Snow on Tuesday. So really push for that. They do a lot of cool things that a lot of people don't know, and just recommend that. And then also I work for the Wichita golf courses. So I work at McDonald. We have a lot of kids camps coming up, and I'm going to be coaching at some of them. So if you know any young golfers, send them my way. I would love to have them.
Steve.
You should say golf.
Golf, yeah.
I want to go on record to say thank you to Samaria and to Councilman Shepherd for the responsiveness you've had to a couple of issues. I want to point out one other thing: the street lights still are out between 21st and Belmont, Oliver and Belmont on 21st on the WSU sides. We lost a huge beaver wildlife. What's happening is it's so dark over there at night, and that's where the stormwater comes through. So there's deer and turkey and everything else that go on down to Chisholm Creek where y'all live. And so it's been more than a month and a half now. It's just a hazard, and people aren't, they drive like maniacs on 21st anyway, but they aren't seeing the wildlife at night. We lost 3 of our 4 foxes from the litter this last summer, early on because of that. So that, and then did anyone else notice the 5 tires just sitting alongside the road up here driving in?
I saw it.
Yeah. So when you go out the parking lot here and you go back up by Tabernacle, before you hit where you go past the school, you turn left and go out towards WSU. Right there, it'd be on your left, then at that point go heading out.
I'll get that reported.
Right on an alleyway almost.
On 17?
18.
Is it on 17?
No, it's not 17th. It's not that far.
18th Street.
Guys, it's the street that goes past the 2 fraternity houses there.
Oh.
Go that way to go out and go back on the hillside.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'll get that reported, and I just texted our Director of Public Works about streetlights. Rachel?
Thank you.
Hallie?
Just a quick reminder that, there's so much going on in our community, and please share it personally, invite someone personally to attend these great events. That's amazing.
Yes. And I just want to thank you guys for coming, everybody who comes, and please don't make this the only time you come. We need your input on so many things that go on here in District 1. We have, and I don't know if we're having it this month, but Saturday mornings there's a District 1 breakfast, and we like your participation. They're always interesting. The breakfast is amazing. You get a chance to meet your neighbors. And so that's why I asked you to stay, so I could beg you to stay involved and come to more meetings and come to the breakfast. And everybody, yeah.
Holly?
I wanted to also say there's a District 1 breakfast that's coming this Saturday, and encourage everyone to come. repeat what Twyla said. But Thursday nights, is Bradley Fair, the free outside concerts, starting this Thursday for 5 Thursdays. The last one would be the first Thursday in July at Bradley Fair. And it's fabulous. It's hot, but the sun goes down behind the apartments, so it's less sunny, just heat. But it's fabulous. I go every year. And then there's a garden tour through the weekend, Friday through Sunday, from the extension office, if anyone's interested. There's the Blood Orchard Vintage Market Food Truck Rally on South Broadway at the Blood Orchard place. Farm, yeah, that's, I think.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. A couple of updates on my end. I'll keep it really brief. Tomorrow we have our evening city council meeting. We do evening meetings once a quarter to accommodate folks who are not able to make the 9 o'clock a.m. meeting, which is overwhelmingly a lot of people who are working or who just have obligations at 9 o'clock in the morning or throughout the day. I think it's really important for us, even if there is not anything on these evening agenda meetings that are of interest to you, that we show up. I would like to push for more evening meetings, but we need the data to reflect that people are taking advantage of that. And if there are oftentimes things that you believe would be more important for you all to see on evening meeting agendas, please let us know. Council members actually have the authority to request certain items to be on particular agendas, as long as they can secure 4 votes to make that happen. So with enough leeway time, we can work on that and work with our colleagues to get that support. Tomorrow's evening agenda, there's one item on the agenda, and that is the repeal of the back-end parking ordinance. It is currently illegal to back-end park to any city of Wichita lots, and that law was placed on the books in 2008 because prior to technology being embedded into vehicles where we now have backing cameras or things that will detect when we are getting too close to infrastructure. 2008, we did not have that. And as a result, a lot of the city infrastructure was being damaged. And so the back-end ordinance was put in place to protect the infrastructure, of course. So we'll be discussing whether or not to repeal that ordinance. I've heard from today alone, I know that I have received 103 emails. The mayor has put out a call to reach out to us. And so I will just say this. I hear a lot about the back-end parking. I just hope that we collectively are very loud and large in numbers when other issues are being presented on the agenda that matter, like affordable housing, or making sure that we're getting minority contractors in to work alongside the city, and or development that we feel like is going to retain and attract talent to be here. So please make sure that you are just as engaged on these issues too. The following week, I will present my very first ordinance. That ordinance would change who is eligible to serve on the district advisory boards. So Kaylin, who is here, is our youth DAB member. However, she is not allowed to vote on anything that comes before the DAB. I do not like that. I think we need to change that. We heard a lot of conversation about young people tonight and the concerns about young people and their involvement in the community. I believe the best way to change that is to give young people a voice at the table and to hear from them about the issues and the challenges impacting them, but also being able to provide solutions. So this ordinance change would require all districts to have a young person on their district advisory board, ages 16 to 18, and it would change it to allow them to actually vote on the things that are coming before them. This is a recommending body. There is no binding of anything except for recommendations to the city council member. So I think it's appropriate that we change this to give young people a voice at the table. So that's on Tuesday. Right on. So encourage all your young people to come and speak in public forum, and all of you should come and speak in public forum and talk about how important it is to get our young people civically engaged.
Bring more neighbors. Come to the breakfast. Bring more neighbors.
Finally, I will just say that we had a redlining discussion last Thursday. We expected and planned for 50 people to come to that redlining discussion to talk about the history of redlining in Wichita and the impacts that it has had on Northeast Wichita, which is where we are in. We had a total of 75 people show up. We ran out of presentation handouts, but the next step from that is to then do what we are calling an all walk, where we will take community members to walk through the communities that have been redlined so that they can observe and see the lack of investment, but also the strength that exists in 67214. I feel that we always talk about 67214 from a deficit mindset. There are great things and great people who are doing phenomenal things here as well as the great work that's happening in the areas of affordable housing with the Rock the Block Hyatt, 19th and Ash, 17th Street is getting new investment for infrastructure and stormwater drainage. But all of this is leading up to my request that as we look at housing and homelessness, how do we work together to ensure that the city is investing adequately financially in 67214 at the same rate as other communities across the city of Wichita? So more information to come on that, but those were the three major updates that I wanted to provide to you all.
I have a question.
What's on the menu for Saturday? Who's the guest speaker on Saturday?
Oh, that's really great. Guest speaker is Director of Housing, Sally Stang, and the topic is housing and homelessness. So I know that a lot of folks are wondering, what is the city doing as it pertains to housing and homelessness? On Saturday, 9:30 a.m. will not be here. It will be at the Carl Brewer Community Center. The reason why is we have the McAfee Historical Pool Celebration happening at 11 o'clock. So instead of doing it here and then having people drive down to McAfee Pool, we'll just walk over to the pool so everybody can celebrate Mr. McAfee and the pool being named after Mr. McAfee. But housing and homelessness is on the agenda for the breakfast. And we're serving you breakfast burritos.
Don, do you have lifeguards to open it?
What'd you say?
We have lifeguards enough to open the pool.
We do have lifeguards to open our pools in District 1. I can't speak for other districts. Yes.
Question, odd question.
Yes.
On 13th, I can't think of a side street, Volusia maybe. There's containers on that block facing 13th. What are those containers? I've never
You're
known.
speaking to the one that has the VP made out of the yellow.
Yeah.
So art that touches your heart, and I don't know why her name is blanking me right now, but there was a plan there. Yes, Ms. Janice Thacker.
Yeah.
There is still a plan to develop those pods into art exhibits. And I think there might be some money through our cultural arts division to actually begin painting those pods, putting murals on there. But Ms. Janice Thacker's plan is to honor people in our community and painting and utilizing those pods to do so. That's a good question. I could not.
Lonnie, do you know what the VP is?
Yeah, I did. It was it's a VP. I mean, it's very something. That was last positive, very positive, something that's identified.
Thank you.
That's been an operation. She's been trying to get that up and running for years.
All right, motion to adjourn. There's a second. All those in favor say go home. All right. Rachel seconded. Oh, Bruce, you've been waiting for me.
Yeah, that right there.
Okay.
All
right.
I'll put time with your time.
Yes, sir.
He's the assistant pro for. Colin O'Brien.